Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today we're just going to dive into hobbies in general. Obviously, everyone watching this, I hope, is into audio and probably video and gear and tweaking and listening and all that kind of good stuff. But we all have at least probably one other major hobby in our life or have had, depending on how old you are, and things change. I know I've had a few hobbies in the past that, yeah, I don't know if I grew out of them or just lost interest, or maybe I got adult money and all of a sudden I got a new hobby. It's probably happened to more than one of you as well. But I'm curious because I know Rick has some cool stuff in his house. I know I've got some cool stuff in my house, and I know everybody watching has some cool stuff in your house. And I want to hear about it. So make sure you comment down with what hobby besides audio and video you're into, because I think there's probably going to be a lot of crossovers. And I know there's
Yep.
a lot of crossovers in hobbies in general about, hey, some of us get really obsessed about, deep diving into something. I'm the type that even if I know I'm never going to do anything with it in the end, I like to research the hell out of stuff. Like I'll take, for example, guitars. I cannot play a single chord. I've got sausage fingers and I just don't have the mind to grasp playing or reading music. I've tried. I have taken so many instrument lessons from a small child through teenage years, and I just can't process it. I wish I could. I love listening to it, obviously, and I would love to play it, but I can't. But I got some adult money when I was in my 30s and decided I'm going to learn how to not only build but fix guitars. So I did, even though I can't play
Cool.
them. And
I'm assuming
you know,
electric, right?
yes, electric.
Okay.
And for no other reason than I wanted to. And there was like probably 2 years there where, man, I was deep into it. And I spent a lot of money on tools and equipment and guitars themselves, and I'd buy them and I'd fix them and I'd sell them and play around with stuff just for the fun of it. And I haven't even thought about it in years, probably at least a decade. But that's the way I am with my hobbies, and they'll go day to day, and sometimes I won't think about anything. Maybe it's been 6 months since I've got a whole cabinet here full of watch tools. I can repair and build, if I had the right tools and the right lubes and everything, pretty much any watch out there. I've got a handful of them that I've customized, a couple that I built, and I pretty much wear one. It was just for the fun. Um, I have, I don't know, 5-6 grand into tools, which is crazy. And I haven't touched them in probably a year, but it's a hobby and I had fun doing it. So let's go
Gotcha.
into yours because number one, I want to hear more about your GTR because I love that car just as an engineering example of a fantastic car itself. But you've taken it to another level. And I know this because he's taken me for a couple ripping test rides, and it is truly fantastic. So, what got you into that? And, what are some of your other current
Well,
hobbies?
so I feel like all gearheads that are into audio can appreciate other things, right? Like you kind of you're looking for mechanical perfection, maybe it's electrical. I'll show you another one that's not the GTR yet. I've
Oh,
had some of
yeah.
these kits around forever, and it's like I'll find little moments where I can put them together. This is a re-release of the Tamiya Avanti. This was in like 1986, a year after I was born. This was a technological marvel. If you can see, it's got Heim joints on the suspension, carbon fiber chassis decks. I mean, this was insane for its time. It was way ahead of its time. It was actually kind of too complicated for its time, but I picked that up at some point, and it's like I finally have just gotten around to putting bits of it together. But um, your watches are great. I appreciate all these things, but the GTR is like a different kind of fun because it's kind of a completely different thought experiment on how to do a car. This has like nothing to do with Acurus and Aragons. This is going to be such a departure for our channel. But let's say you're making a car, and you're like, well, what is it going to do? Well, it's going to move people, right? It can't be really tiny. The GTR is not tiny. It's more the size of like a Ford Mustang. It's not the size of a Miata or a Ford GT or something like that. It's a Mustang kind of large, almost muscle car kind of size car, like bigger than a Camaro.
Yep.
The similar size of a Mustang, similar to like a Challenger, even. It's that kind of room. Like when you're in it, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
feel
roomy.
small.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and it's not really that low either. I went to a car show. Great friend of mine, Drew. He brought it. He has like a 2002 Viper. He brings it, and it's parked so that it's like behind my car, and I can't even see it.
Yeah.
Because the Viper's like, I don't know the exact height, so somebody's going to correct me in the comments, but I'm going to guess it's like 43, 44 inches high from the roofline bubble to the ground is like 43, 44. My car's got to be 40, like 56. It's like 12 inches taller roof to roof compared to this Viper. So you've got a car that's a steel body, magnesium and aluminum castings and forgings. It's a very different way to build a car. All-wheel drive. The transmissions in the front. I'm sorry, the transmissions in the back. The engines in the front. They're connected by a constant speed drive shaft. It's not like a Corvette torque tube, but it's a cool arrangement because you get all-wheel drive. There's actually another drive shaft that comes back up from the transaxle. They get close to a 50-50 weight distribution, but you get all-wheel drive.
Nice.
I think you remember on that one road we had all four tires spinning, so we were kind of like skating, but still moving forward.
And no, they were not bald before anyone says
no,
it.
No, those are Michelin.
They were sticky,
pretty sticky tires. They feel like pencil erasers. But so you start thinking about mods. You're talking about a car that weighs about 3,850 pounds. It's not really light. It's way heavier than like a Corolla. It's a lot heavier than that 2002 Viper.
Yeah.
It's 800 pounds heavier than like that Viper or McLaren for perspective. But if you give it power, it can be really fun. So it came with 480 horsepower. This car has the larger OEM turbos on it that were made for a Nismo. It has upgraded fuel system. It runs E85. Upgraded fuel system means it's got triple pumps on a radium fuel hanger. It's got injector dynamics injectors, flex fuel sensor, AN line fitting flex lines under the engine compartment. You've got the injector dynamics fuel filter, different down pipes. All the exhaust components are titanium, which saves some weight. There's probably 50 pounds of exhaust components weight difference saved there. Not that I'm helping not put some of that weight back. So we got to make up for me. Obviously, all that stuff's free flowing, and in the net result is you can get a wheel horsepower that's 300 plus more than the original. I won't get into the exact numbers here on this channel, but it's enough to be really fun in that car. And now, thanks to Sam Barros at Power Labs Tuning, it has one button anti-lag.
Oh, nice.
Which I sent you a video of that before. Yeah. So the old way you had to, so what anti-lag is for people watching this, and it's a means of you're retarding timing and you're keeping your wastegates closed so that you can hold vehicle speed constant while you're in a low gear, high RPM, so you can build boost without actually accelerating. And you'll hear the car kind of wind up when you do that. And then when you release a button or something with your foot already floored, you'll unleash all that boost and do a kind of rolling launch. Yeah. And that's really fun because right now you can be doing 45, 50 miles an hour, 4,000, 5,000 RPM in third gear, build up some boost. And when you let go of that, it's the same kind of G-force sensation you get when you take off from a stop,
that's
but you're
awesome.
Taking off from a roll. And so you can do a really great 60 to 130 time. That's, extremely impressive. So it's a cool platform for how big and heavy the car is. It's extremely practical.
That's what impressed me the most about it. It is truly an engineering marvel platform that they've built so many of these things into, almost like they were thinking about the future, but I don't know if they were. But what is able to be done with it is another level from stock.
I feel like they were. I feel like they built it as a platform for you to play with. It didn't come with an absolute ton of horsepower, and if you used the launch control from a stop, that was kind of sketchy on the transmission. But if you look at it differently,
well,
you're
that
like,
was
okay,
a ton
this thing,
when it came out.
It was in all fairness. You got to remember, it really came out in 2007 as a 2008 model, and it hit the States in 200009. So for its time,
it's a pretty old car. I mean,
yeah, this is a 2010. But here's what my take is from it. The fuel lines under the car are bigger than they need to be for the horsepower it makes. Certain key components of it are actually pretty well overbuilt. I'll say like the spindles are pretty stout. Your half shafts, things like that, they can support more than what the stock turbos can make. And so there's some headroom in the platform. A lot of people go for a target that's kind of like FBO, full bolt on. So that's without upgrading turbos, but that's like, upgraded intercooler, boost piping, intakes, downpipes, fuel system, all that kind of stuff. And you make 700 plus horsepower. Nismo turbos, you can make, 800 or something like that.
And that's crazy to get that level with essentially bolt-ons.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is I know guys that are sales dudes, they do this in an R35, which is that whole platform from 2008 to 2024. And they'll do that mod level at like 20,000 miles, and then they reach 115. The car's still working. So long as you don't just thrash the crap out of it, they'll still work. They won't burn oil, and they'll be a great car. One other thing I do in mine is I run AMSOIL, a little bit heavier weight oil than the original, but it's AMSOIL. And, between
Good
that
stuff.
and running the 85, everything's exceptionally clean.
Yeah.
You're really not building any carbon. When I got the car, it had a different tune on it. It ran, 93 plus gasoline, and the exhaust tips were black, looked like a diesel. And with E85 and Sam's tune and all the little things, like you can take a cloth and wipe the inside of one of those titanium tips and nothing. It's just clean, like perfectly clean, no carbon, anything. So that's the cool thing about that thing is it's like drivability and stuff's good. Now it makes some weird noises. You rode in it. It sounds like a kid shifting a manual. It's a little clunky in that way, but it just works, and it kind of like solves all the problems like a sledgehammer.
I'm gonna call that the same thing that people call my motorcycle industrial.
Yeah. It solves all of its problems in kind of a sledgehammer sort of way, but it solves them. It's like,
exactly.
Well, the car's heavy. Well, okay, we'll put really big brakes on it. We'll give it some power. We'll gear it really low. I don't know the axle ratio right offhand, but it's like 4-to-1, 4.1-to-1. It's a very low axle ratio because the car's heavy. So it accelerates a lot better than it should, even with the power it has for its weight, because of how the gearing and everything's optimized. Right. The downside is when you're going 70, 80 miles an hour, you're in sixth gear and you're still doing 2,000 plus RPM because it's geared low. It's made to accelerate. But yeah, it's an interesting way to solve problems. It's like, oh, a car's heavy, more power. Still feels not gear it lower. I would have loved to have heard the engineers' conversations about it. I watched a good video on it was kind of like the How It's Made GTR edition. I don't remember what they called it. I think it was on Discovery, Mega Factories or something.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, they had one about that factory, and what's really crazy about the factory is the engine. One engine is built by hand by one guy. They call him like a takumi. That's the Japanese word for like a craftsman, or I could be messing this up, so please, guys in the comments, be nice to me. I'm not good at keeping all this stuff straight. But one guy builds one engine by hand. One guy builds one GR6 transaxle by hand. It's a cool thing. But the final assembly of the car, not the engine and transaxle, but like where all the components are put together, is on an assembly line shared with another more off-the-shelf kind of car like an Altima or something, which is just like mind-blowing. Like this car gets, some paintwork and stuff, steps that are a little different than the other car, but they actually merge together at some point. So like the door panels are being put on by the same people that are like assembling like the Japanese market Altima or Sentra or some kind of car like that. It's like, that's a lot of flexibility. That makes that whole process kind of crazy. And the last thing I'll say about it is when it was new, I think its window sticker was like in the low 80s. It sounds like a lot of money.
It was back then.
If you think about it, well, it was a pretty good chunk back then, but even back then, Escalades were that much.
Yeah, but that was like the tip of, oh my God, that's a lot for a car, an Escalade. And it still is when you're talking 150 now for a freaking truck.
Yeah, I think a Z06 at that time was a hair cheaper, but a ZR1 Corvette was the same or more money.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's like you're getting all-wheel drive, and it's such an easy car to drive.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It actually seems like a pretty good deal looking back on it. you think about that price and the fact that like your wife or like your kid could just get their driver's license. You can be like, floor it. They're probably not going to put it in the ditch. Not at stock power.
Right.
You know, as long as you leave all the nannies on and you punch it, it's just going to go.
Yep.
You know, even when it spun the tires, we skated a little bit. We were going this way. All the stuff is so well tuned that it kind of just does what it should do. And I think that speaks volumes to the guys that worked on it and had their hands in the project.
I'm not going to call it tame or anything like that, but it kind of reminded me of the NSX, where yes, you know it's insane, but it's not trying to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've put it in some kind of dumb situations, and it's always been like recoverable. It's a very tolerant vehicle.
Tolerant, yes, that's what
yeah. It will tolerate
your mistakes.
You doing something stupid,
right?
Like I remember I had somebody behind me, and I'm on a road that's like asphalt. I'm like, hey, check this out, and he's behind me, and I punch it and kind of do this. You're kind of doing sideways but going straight, and everything's. It's predictable. Like I did it like 3 times. Like I'm gonna do it again.
So you pulled the Maverick.
No, nothing like that. But like there's some cars that you would get like a snap oversteer when the tires grab, and you go from correcting the wheel this way to it never does that. It's just a really well balanced car. I don't think there's anything wrong with Mustangs. You know what I think it is? It doesn't really apply today. Which is funny because I don't see as many new Mustangs doing this. But you remember like 5 years ago, you'd go on YouTube and you just see like a Mustang just wipe out a crowd.
Yep.
It'd say it's like the quickest way to take a crowd out is with Mustang, right? But what's really happening is there was a time when I was in high school, you could go get a Mustang GT for like 23 grand.
Yeah. Brand new.
And then for a while, brand new was 29 grand. There was a reasonable amount. So I had a Challenger at one point, which was a big, heavy muscle car. And back then, the Mustang was smaller. I didn't fit well in a Mustang back then. They're pretty big now.
Yeah.
They keep making them bigger. But back then, the Mustang was a lot smaller. So my big butt bought a Challenger. And I remember the Mustang was like 10 grand cheaper than the Challenger. I had just an RT, and it was like a $40,000 car. Window sticker was like 42. And then, you could get a GT Mustang for like high 20s. Insane value. So what's really happening is you're putting a car back then, the 5-liter, I don't know, maybe like 450 horsepower, 440. That's a lot of power for somebody in a $29,000 car.
Especially if they're a new driver.
Yeah. Usually $29,000 in the automotive world back then got you like not even a Maxima. That was like an Altima. That's a base model Camry kind of like Camrys stopped being $19,000 cars a long time ago. They started being mid 20s to mid 30s, maybe even 40s. And so when you think about getting a GT Mustang stick shift 5-liter, that's a kid doing something stupid car is what that is. Cause it's kid money. It's like dad says you got 30 grand to go find a car. You're not going to go home in that 4-door sedan. You're getting the Mustang every time. So that's what it comes down to. There's nothing wrong with their suspension or how they handle or anything. It's just a lot of power with an inexperienced driver. And it doesn't have some of that forgiveness that the GTR has, but it's certainly nothing wrong with it. Nothing bad. It's just, it's just a driver.
Yep. I found that episode, by the way. I'll put it down in the description and comments of this video. It's a Nat Geo Mega Factories.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I've made my kids watch it. My 7 and 9-year-old kids, they love, like they watch how it's made. They watch all this stuff. And so they loved watching that Mega Factories video.
Cool. And
then one last thing is, that car is interesting because in the early years, they didn't make a lot of colors. 2008, 9, and 10, you could have any color you wanted so long as it was one of 4. There was silver, white, black, and red.
And probably black only for the interior.
So that's what's weird is I see a lot of them that have this black and red interior. Mine's white. I don't see a lot of them with the white interior. I know it was not exactly uncommon. I'm just saying when I've worked on them before for other people, or I've, seen various ones around, they generally have the black seats with the red trim. I never see the white seats. So that's kind of an unusual thing. But other than that, not a lot of options, and I think that's how they were able to get you for the time legit supercar kind of performance for a sports car kind of price,
Yeah,
for kind of a premium sports car price. I don't mean, basic sports car price, but that's what makes it impressive,
for
you
sure.
know.
And it does
Now
impress.
you're into motorcycles. That's like a different kind of scenario because you have so little weight,
Yeah.
and you also have one driven tire.
That's the detriment. And I doubt I would ever, I mean, even though from certain rolling starts at least, there are a lot of motorcycles out there that will even beat your modified GTR. But from a dead stop, I have absolutely no hope in hell because I can't even give it half throttle in first gear, and first gear takes me above 60.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it just wants to
And
wheelie.
yeah, that's a whole different kind of power to weight scenario. And I think about my brother had a crotch rocket that had a stretched frame so that you
Hmm.
could get, the more distance you can get between the tires, the more wheelbase you can have, kind of the more
Yeah.
weight you're putting ahead of it to keep the front end down, right? And so in my head, that's what I'm always visualizing. And then I see these new bikes that have like 100 plus horsepower, and I can touch both axles like this, and I'm just like,
Right.
how does that keep the front end down?
It
Like,
doesn't. In fact, the
yeah, I guess it
last bike
doesn't.
I just sold, it was a very short wheelbase like that, and I modified it a bit, and it had a really great triple engine, and it was a wheelie monster through third gear. I mean, it was just so torquey and so effortless. A lot of fun, but freaking, it took effort to really ride it to its limit because it didn't do anything for you, and it was always on the edge. But
It's amazing that they can even wheelie. I look at that tire and I'm like, how does that even get
oh,
traction?
I
Or
know. That's one thing about motorcycles that makes the biggest difference to any rider: confidence. Once you experience, like, new riders will absolutely never believe that they can lean their bike over, you know, it feels like your nose is on the ground and you're going around a corner, you know, super fast, doesn't matter. And you're just worried that you're going to slide out. And it's not until you truly realize that, yes, your contact patch is the size of an apple and
yeah,
you have more grip there than when you floor it going straight. It just doesn't make any sense that that tiny amount of rubber is all that's contacting the road, and it is more than you need, and you have nothing to worry about. And until you get that confidence in your riding, everything is just kind of in flux.
it's like a friend of mine I grew up with, this guy Philip. He's always been in the crotch rockets, and he showed me. He said, "Look, I'm using all of my tire." And I looked at his tire. I'm like, "Oh, damn, you are using all of your tire." I mean, it was from sidewall to sidewall. I could see
Yeah.
where he's been on it,
Yeah.
and that tells me he's really kicking it over, taking advantage of all the cornering capability of that bike.
Yep.
And then I thought about that, and I now pay attention. I'll see some guys, parked in front of restaurant, gas station, what have you, and I'll look at the bike, and you'll see this much of the tire has been used, and like out here's like new. And then I always think of Phillips example where you can see the wear
Yep.
all the way. So what's the king of motorcycle tires now? Like, I know when my
Oh,
brother
well.
had that one, it was like always Dunlop or whatever. What is it now?
Well, number one, it changes really year to year because every
Okay.
manufacturer will have their certain lines, but they're all very designed for different things. For example, on mine, it's a heavy tour. I have a Yamaha FJR 1300 right now. And what it really likes is called dual compound tires. So the actual middle quarter or so is a much harder compound rubber for longer lasting tread.
Probably good for efficiency too, right? Because a really soft tire is also going to screw up your efficiency.
You mean mileage or wear on the
Yeah,
tires?
like mileage. Yeah.
Oh, nobody ever pays attention to mileage. It doesn't matter if you're you could be riding on or off, and that's all you ever do, and you're still going to get 40 to the gallon. Nobody cares
Yeah.
about that. But it's really about how long the tires last. If you get for example, a really sticky set, not even track tires, just really sticky street tires, and you ride hard, Doesn't matter if it's just straight down the freeway or if you're lucky enough to live around curves. If you ride hard, you'd be lucky to get 1,500, 2,000 miles out of a set. Whereas a set like the ones I'm running at the moment, and there's 4 or 5 at any given time that will be a good match. Depends on the feel a little bit and what each person likes. But you need something with that dual compound to absorb that extra weight
Gotcha.
to make them last 5 or 6,000 if you're lucky. Now, if you baby it, if you just don't accelerate hard ever, don't brake hard ever, yeah, you might get 10 to 15,000 out of the same tires, but you're not having any fun. You're just using it to
Gotcha.
go to the grocery store. But the best tire, there is no best tire. If there was, everyone would be running the same one. It depends on the bike. If you're using luggage on it or not, 2 up, 1 up. If it's curvy, if it's straight, it varies. But what I like is I like to find a tire that gives me decent numbers. Now I get about 7, 8 out of a set in general, and that's fine for me, like Michelin Road GTs. Cost isn't really a big factor because they're all generally the same. You're paying
At
about,
least you only have to buy 2.
yeah, but they're still 600-700 bucks a pair.
Gotcha.
I mean, they're not
I
cheaper than cars.
So if I buy a tire for my car and I put like a Cup 2R on there, I'm looking at like 700-800 bucks a tire.
Yeah, well, those are more like track tires. If you put track tires on a bike, you're in the same range.
Yeah, you could put some 888s on there. Those are sticky. There's a lot of things I can do on the car, but if they're between 600 and 1K each and you got to buy 4 of them, that's like, okay, that's going to get you.
Yeah. Now I went through that crap with my Mini Coopers, and that was mostly due to the fact that there were only like 3 tires at the time that were any good that weren't run flats that you could put on them. And they were just super expensive. And oh my God, the stock suspension setup on those things is so crazy. It was eating through tires every 3,000 miles. Didn't matter what you put on it.
Is it because of the camber? Was it wearing the inside out? Okay.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. But that's why they rode like, go-karts.
Yeah. Yeah. No, camber's great. That's when you're driving in a straight line, it's not doing anything for you. But when you start to turn and you transfer weight to the outside, then you use the full contact patch of the outside tire and it's there for you.
It works.
Yeah.
But man,
if
you got to have the serious tire money.
Exactly. So I'm in a spot right now where my alignment, I don't have all the camber out, but I've taken some out. It's a more street and acceleration favoring alignment. If you have it in a track alignment, it's great for cornering, but you actually lose a lot of straight line grip because you're on the inside of the tire in a straight line. So it's kind of in a compromise right now. I tried it with even less camber and then it just wasn't fun. It's still kind of fun, even if you're not speeding and you're, whatever, if you're just like, hey, I'm going to turn it, you just kind of whip in and that's cool.
Yep.
But when you had no camber, it didn't feel good. You were still doing it and I didn't hear any squealing, but it felt edgy. So you got to keep some of it. I've experimented with it, and camber is king to a point. Yeah.
In the right situation.
But yeah, so there's definitely a crossover between, bikes, cars, audio stuff. I think watches, I've been to a lot of customer houses where I'll see, it could be like kind of a man cave area. And the guy might keep some watches down. He'll have them on all the winders. And it's like, he's got several Rolexes or tags or whatever he's into. And it's like all these things kind of connect. And I don't know if it's because we're all sort of seeking the same thing, or it's like performance, or if it's precision or combination or what it is. But it's like whatever drives you to throw, it's not just money. You have to throw time at your system. Right? Like the calibrating.
You have to have an active interest in it.
Right. And it's the same thing with these other hobbies. It's like, even with this RC car over here, this thing is the best of 1986 technology. And it's like, I don't really know if I want to throw any money at it because I think it's a shelf queen. But it's like, do I want to put a brushless motor on it for like precision and fun? I kind of do. It doesn't need it. I don't think its drivetrain is going to like that very much, but
it's still that goal that's sitting there taunting you.
Yeah, it's like, do I optimize this for the max, or do I just enjoy it for what it was in 1986 kind of thing? It's no
Yeah.
different than you getting a new subwoofer and learning all about it, figuring the propagation delay out and tuning it and blending it into the system. It's no different than me doing my recent fuel system upgrade. Oh,
Mhm.
hey, that's another thing. On all these power sports things and cars, you start playing around with tuning. If you have something with a turbo, you cannot let cars go lean. That is
Mm.
horrible scenario. So I put a fuel pressure sensor on the fuel rail, and if it ever is lower than a certain threshold, it'll start cutting boost
Mm.
um,
Save
and
your bacon.
timing. Yeah, so that you don't melt pistons.
Yeah.
Melting pistons is expensive sounds and smells and
Yes, it is.
noises. So, that's like the audio system, right? You start modding one thing, and like, where do you stop? You kind of just have to keep going, right?
Yep.
Like you had to have the fuel system because of the boost. You needed more fuel because if out more fuel, you can't flow enough E85 to keep up because you need way more E85 than 91 plus or 93 plus gasoline.
There's
So
a saying in photography, every time you improve something, you unimprove something else.
yeah, so that's the whole thing. It's like, well, with your sound system, it does something differently. It's like you get a better sub or you get a better amp. It's not that anything else became less good. It's that now you have this new stethoscope showing you
Yes.
that something else you didn't realize wasn't
Wait
as
a
good is
minute.
now like, well, I wonder what it'd be like if I had this. And
Hmm.
that's sort of what drives the itis. And so I think in like future videos, maybe we can, save some people some use our journeys, Odysseys. What do you think of that one, Odyssey? To talk about learned lessons
Oh,
and
the new
maybe,
term?
yeah, you said, let's think of a better term.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's too close to another industry term, but we'll think of something.
Yeah, but think of it like this: there's pitfalls and then there's aha moments, and it seems like you
Yes.
have what is it? Nothing. It leaves there's no better teacher than experience, and there's no more sour taste than a bad experience, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of different ways to say it, but I mean, those those two things are always hand to hand. Again, it doesn't matter if you're modifying a car, or motorcycle, a sound system; it's always the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you do one thing good and it's great, but like the bad experience, either you blowing something up because you did the wrong mod, or you spending money and
Yeah.
getting worse performance.
Yeah.
Nothing stings and leaves a sour taste in your mouth like that.
But hopefully you at least learn something.
Yeah, and there's record setting guys in all these categories. I hear there's a Mustang out there called Snot Rocket. They've like, I don't know, they've named it. It's green. It's making the most power that's ever been made on a stock block Coyote. I think
Mm,
it has a stock crank. Somebody in the
okay.
comments is going to prove to me what it does or doesn't have. I know we're going to see it. All the gearheads are going to unite, and it makes something to the tune of like 3,000 crank horsepower.
Oh my goodness. All
Yeah,
right.
on a stock crank and
Yeah.
block
Was not expecting that.
Coyote V8. Now I think it's twin turbo, and it's made a lot of passes on this motor. And what that comes down to is there was probably, again, ignorance here. I haven't read the journey, but I'm sure whoever's working this has learned some expensive lessons and has applied a lot of really good knowledge to do this build right, to tune it right, to have the right safeguards so that they can make all this power on a
Mm.
stock block and not grenade it, right?
Yeah. It didn't happen the first try.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things you find you weren't expecting. Like I know somebody who found out the expensive way that if you put a very, very large supercharger on a LS motor, there is a point where, your crankshaft, you always think of all the main bearings as being perfectly straight in a line, but when there's enough load on the front of the crank, on the snout,
Get some torsion.
yeah, you can get some torsion and start to flex that guy, and then you can spin a main bearing because now you're side loading the bearing in a way that was not really ever expected, right? So there's a lot of expensive lessons that now that you know that, next time you order a block, you're going to get a dart block with the Cleveland mains, which are bigger, so you can have a more stout crank, and then you can build it right the first time. So I think that's where maybe we can help some people in the audio
First
realm.
time.
Yeah, do it. Well, the first time you built it that new way, okay?
Yeah,
That's
the
what you tell your
first
wife.
time
This
it
is the
worked.
first time. This is the first Dart LS build. It's like, haven't you built 4 V8s and blown them up? This is the first one this way. Yeah.
Just like this is my first home theater.
Yeah. This is my first one with 18-inch subs.
Yeah.
There's always, I remember guys saying like, "Hey, I'm getting this. I need a receipt, but then I need a nut." I'm like, man, please don't put me in this situation. Do not make me your wife's enemy. Us delivering a speaker in Austin one time, and
you just charge more for it. That's all right. Yeah.
The guy's wife is like, "Is that Richard? I hear Richard. He's evil. Get him the hell out of my house." I'm like, she was joking, right? I stuck around all day and everything was fine. She didn't kill me or anything, but joking aside, she probably does think I'm kind of evil instigator spirit or something, But
yeah, just ask to see her shoe closet and her handbag collection, and
my wife is like extremely practical, so I can't do any of those things. She's
lucky
so
bastard,
like just an angel in all those regards. She doesn't
she's
do any of that stuff.
Hi.
No. I can see the door is right there. I can see it. I would know if she was behind me. But no, joking aside, like she's just not into that stuff. And she could be. I'm all for it. I actually bought her a really nice purse one time, and I think she likes it, but I don't think she would have bought it for herself. I went to the store, and it's an expensive store because the door is so heavy.
Yeah.
I'm a big dude, and I'm like, whoa, this door is heavy. All of a sudden, I was talking like one of those the movie guy, like the movie intro. He walked in the store and he became poor. What's that brand? It wasn't Louis Vuitton. That was next door. It was the other Italian one. Gucci. Yeah, the door, dude. I'm going back to this door. It must have weighed like 400 pounds and had some kind of, hydraulic damper or something on it. It was insane. Yeah. It's like, that's the feeling of luxury. If you have to open a door like that to get to your media room, that's God's media room.
That would be cool. Actually,
made it.
Yeah.
One of our dealers has so when you come up to Indy, we'll have to show you One Touch Automation's place. They have I think it's a pocket door, but it's motorized.
Oh, like Star Trek.
So yeah, so you put something in on a keypad, and it's like,
yep, those are cool.
It's pretty cool, and it does not rattle. It's like dampened, so it never rattles, and it's a really cool designed room.
Now, I would be freaked out about it cutting a pet in half or something.
It's not fast. It's got to have
still not all pets are smart.
Yeah,
I can just picture one of my dogs like, what the hell is coming at me?
Yeah, my cat wants to be in the media room. It's a forbidden zone for her, but because she knows I like what's in that room, like she wants in there so bad. Like I'll be listening to music loud in that room, and I hear this. I know you can hear that because the microphone. You'll hear this thump, thump, thump. It's like, what is that? And she's like standing on her back legs, kind of banging on the door, like wanting in. And I'm like, nah, you shouldn't be in here. It's bad for you. What it really is I don't want her in there because not that she's going to mess anything up. I just don't want her like getting hair, like playing with wires or any of that kind of stuff. But it's funny how like a pet will catch on and be like, well, I don't know what this thing is, but you like it, so it must be really cool.
Yep.
Like if let's say you get something new for your motorcycle, like messing with this part, and you put it on the table, your dog or your cat might go check it out. It's like, what were you doing with that? That thing must be great.
In fact, my
wife
wife
spent like 10 minutes admiring it,
My wife accidentally locked one of her dogs in the garage the other day because, if one of us are out there, she just got another car and she's been putting stuff on it, hanging out in the garage a lot. And he snuck out there and she didn't know it. And then a little bit later, she hears, yip, yip, yip. He's stuck. The other one,
nice.
She loves anytime I'm just sitting listening to music or, just hanging out in the living room theater, she'll always have to be on my lap, no matter what she was doing, because they just want to hang out.
Yep, it's funny you say that. I was testing. I changed from a 8008 BB, which is like an old, long discontinued Aragon amp, to one of our new M8X amplifiers in the kid's studio to just kind of hear the difference between the amps, kind of see where we came from, where we're going, and then all that kind of stuff. And I left some music playing to kind of get, but everything kind of breaking. I had some new
Yeah.
speakers, some totem monitors and stuff on there. And I come out and the cat's like sitting in the chair, just like listening to the music I'm playing. Her ears are like perked up.
Yep.
And I think she's absolved to like, if you like this so much, music must be cool. You're doing this all the time. So I don't know what it is. Maybe she genuinely likes it. I have no idea what's going on in
Yeah,
that
a
little
lot of
like,
animals like music.
how big is that brain? It's like a walnut, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Walnut brain. Does
Yeah.
it like music? I don't know.
Whatever. Good taste.
Yeah. So what else is there? I know some of the guys that get into like bourbon. That can be a fun.
Oh yeah. Well, bourbon, cigars, of course.
Yeah, that one I can't speak much to, but I get it. It's a collecting thing, right? You collect them, you
It
different
certainly is.
flavors. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever becomes a sharing experience where you're like, okay, I've got 4 of these. We all need to try one. This is what is it like bourbon where you talk about like notes and flavors and
Very
sensations
much
and
so.
stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much all it is. You don't inhale
Okay.
cigars, so it's literally all about flavor. And
Gotcha.
there are some guys that are, just like there are bourbon people that love to get drunk. There are a few cigar guys that will love to get nicotine high, but those are few and far between.
Can you get a nicotine high off a
Oh,
cigar?
absolutely. Nicotine is uh there aren't a lot of cigars that have nicotine because it's naturally fermented out during the process of manufacture. So
Hmm.
when there is nicotine in a cigar, it's by design. The blender, the chef, if you will have purposely put a leaf in there with nicotine in it to get that effect. So,
Okay.
but yeah, if you I'm not terribly tolerant to it. I can handle about a 9 out of 10 on the scale, but I won't like it. I will
Gotcha.
I will like about a 5 out of 10 because up to that point, it's like salt on a dish. It amplifies whatever flavors are there without any detriment. But above that, it gives you cold sweats, like your hair will start sweating. It makes you flush. It lowers your blood pressure, like drops it. Blood sugar, sorry, not pressure. Makes you nauseous at a certain point. The room
Gotcha.
starts spinning. Yeah, it's
Wow.
very potent, and I don't enjoy it. But there are some guys that love it, can't get enough of it. And there are cigars
Gotcha.
out there just for those guys. There are cigars out there where literally 5 minutes of it, and I was barfing on the lawn because it's just
Really?
too much.
So it's kind of what I think of with, like the car and accelerating or the stereo. And, I've got like 10, 18-inch subs. And if you let that really rip, you get kind of like an adrenaline rush.
Hmm.
You can't do it all the time. You'd be deaf,
Yeah.
but it can be like a really fun, 5, 7 second thing. Like play this clip. That's awesome. Right. Um, it's funny. We're talking about this, another good friend of mine, John, he has a system that has 14 of the 18-inch woofers in it, the different,
Wow.
dual 12 and single 12 bag ends blended together. And he's a car guy. He's got a couple neat cars. He has one coming soon called a GTD. It's a very special Mustang that I think handles so good it won't find any crowds. I'm pretty confident it will stay out of the crowds. But outside of that, I thought 10 18s was fun.
Yeah.
14 18s is more fun. In his room, we have like 4 on the left, 4 on the right. So like a double on top of a double.
Mm.
And in the back, we have a double on each side and a single in front. So you have like a row of 3.
Okay.
And the output capability of that system is just, it's like an adrenaline rush, like you get from, pegging the throttle in an 800 plus horsepower car, but like in a room. That's what that room feels like. I thought mine's more like it does that. In my main speakers have a lot of output capability, but his room now, you've been to that room. It's the room with the red speakers.
But not with
That
those
room
subs.
now, yeah, that room now is like just it's insane. We'll have to get you back there and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
And I bet it doesn't even have to breathe hard to do it.
No, and that's what's funny about it was you can now watch a clip at a lower average volume. It's just so full feeling that you don't have to watch it as loud to enjoy it, right?
It's funny how bass, more than mid-range or treble, really conveys the emotion and the feeling of whatever's playing.
Yeah, I feel that. And when a movie is supposed to have kind of a heavy feeling to it and the soundtrack gets kind of lower in the notes and stuff, um, systems like that are going to really convey it.
Hmm.
It's not just conveying feels, it's also conveying emotions. And it's not just impact and rumble, it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think if you're, again, kind of back to the gearhead thing, and you're kind of looking at all your hobbies as like, what am I optimizing? I think he finally, with his room, is like, I've arrived. I think
Nice.
he's finally there. Either we got to get you there again, or we should like get him on the channel or something. I think it would be cool to
Or
talk
both.
about. Yeah, or both. I think it would be really neat. It's definitely a watching Ready Player One at like any level you want to watch it is just insane there. Plus, his house is also a two. So his house is on the second story. My media room's on the first.
Mm.
So on the second story, and you get a little bit of that floor quake
Oh yeah.
combined with all of those 18s. It feels almost scary at moments. It's really, really, really fun.
Yeah, he's
It's
definitely not in need of any kind of
no,
tactile.
no, no. I was joking with him. I said, "Hey, man, I wonder how far we have to go before we cause the drywall below us to drop on the McLaren downstairs."
No,
He didn't think that was that funny.
that's a legitimate concern when you're
Yeah, well, what's
actually
weird is
moving in the
I don't know if it
chair.
was chance or what, but I was walking out, and he walked out with me, and we went through the garage. I look up, and there's like new nail pops. I'm like, "Are those new?" you know, I swear that wasn't there before. It's like a chunk of
Yeah.
spackle missing where there's a screw or a nail. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's new. We'll see. Let him watch a couple more movies, and I'll keep tabs on it. But yeah, I think all these things. What's one more we can think of? Another hobby that ties in: audio, bourbon, cigars, motorcycles, cars. What else? I mean, I know there's like
Mm.
gaming, right? Like guys are into Sims, whether it's golf sims, it's racing sims, just actual gaming. They're kind of an extension of the audio video experience, but it's different because I look at it like it's a separate hobby, but the audio video hobby can enhance it.
I think that's kind of a conjunctive. Oh my god, conjunct conjunctive hobby because it's competition, which is its own thing, plus the hobby of
Yeah,
this.
maybe, but I'm going to say this: competition you can't collect. I
No.
know guys that have like every game system ever made, and then they have these new companies. I'm not going to remember the name, but there's a company now that they make like a new reproduction Nintendo 64, and they make a
Mm.
new um, Game Boy Color. And these guys buy that, and then they have a Switch, and they have a PS5, and they have a PS3, and then I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have a PS4 just like sitting on the floor here, and I've got a whatever. I'm not that guy, but my problem is different. I hate to get rid of these consoles when they still work,
Mm.
but there's guys that have like every generation of console made. And so I'm
That's
going to say it's a hobby. If you can
that's my
collect
brother.
it, and if they have all the games still, and they have like PS1 games, I'm going to say it's a hobby,
I think
like in itself.
I definitely think collecting in itself is a hobby. Like
Yeah.
my brother is a legitimate collector of several things, including video games. He doesn't play them. He just has okay, you've seen 40-year-old virgin,
Yeah.
the apartment filled with inboxes, toys,
Hmm.
collected. That's him. That is he lives alone, townhouse, 50 years old, and
We're going to see him in the comments.
he doesn't even watch YouTube.
Okay. So he won't know that you called him 40-year-old virgin.
Oh, he doesn't care. He
Okay.
loves it.
Okay.
He has rooms of cabinets and displays, and that's his hobby. Just collecting. I mean, uh, I'm not going to name everything because privacy. Not that sounded very bad. Uh, like I'll say coins.
Right.
Has lots of collections like that, and he just loves collecting stuff, whatever it is. He's got to have it all.
I hear you. I mean, I'm not much better. Look, I've made a Lego Millennium Falcon. I like to build and collect all that kind of stuff, so I get it.
Yep.
I've definitely collected a bunch of Legos. I think my wife thought I should have outgrown that when I met her, and then now
Hell no.
she just goes with it. Like,
I think when I was a little kid, I'm talking 70s, I was keeping Lego in business, man. Lego is the shit.
no, I mean, when I met her, I know she probably thought like, okay, I don't know about this, but now she just embraces like it's my birthday, and I
Cool.
don't need anything, but it's like even if it's small, like I'll if she gets me something, it's probably going to be a Lego thing, and she knows me
Yeah.
pretty well because the things she's got me have been pretty good like that. There's a front end loader up there. I know she got me that one year,
Nice.
and it's like that's when you know you've made it in your relationship is where like they get you and they just embrace your gearhead thing, whatever that is.
Yep. That works.
You know, like last Christmas, my dad got me a 10.8-inch like Android tablet kind of radio for the GTR so that it can have like modern features like CarPlay and Android Auto.
Mhm.
It's like when your family gets your hobbies
That's
and they
cool.
just, yeah, and they kind of just enable it. That's maybe it's cool. I don't know, but
No, it's
I
cool.
think it's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm going to go with that.
Yep.
You know, and the audio thing, it's an interesting one because I think it's kind of easy to figure out like with a Lego set, you can kind of go get something. It's like you have a motorcycle. It's like, what do you get somebody for that? You know, all that stuff is like mega expensive. Like what can you get for a motorcycle nowadays? Like
Yeah.
if your best friend, your partner, whatever has a motorcycle, what do you get them for it?
She's
Now, I'm asking you,
learned
I don't know.
uh, I'll give you the only answer I know. It's the answer I give her, and she learned over the years, gift card, because
Gift card?
whatever it is, if I want it, I already have it. No one can guess, what next thing I'm going to want because it's only in my head. So, I mean,
Gotcha.
I totally will appreciate the effort or something, but odds are, whatever it is, if she tries to get something for one of my hobbies, it's going to get returned with very few exceptions.
Gotcha.
So, but it's the thought that counts.
Well, you know, this it's kind of funny. I was just talking about game stuff. And I said, well, I'm not really that into it. I guess that's not true. I was playing the crap out of Gran Turismo the other night. And what's kind of cool about that game is you can kind of collect cars
Mm.
virtually in a game
Ah,
and you can customize them.
hmm,
Obviously in real life, customizing cars is incredibly expensive. Like I can't do anything like super significant to the GTR. So for me, putting a fuel pressure sensor on there is way easier than blowing the engine up. Because if I do that, man, it's going to sit there and not work for a long time.
gotcha.
But making a hole in the block is an expensive hole. Um, so it's like, well, in the game, you can win some races and you get a tons of credit and you can, buy a virtual card at like real life I'm never going to have. So it's kind of a cool, that's a different way of looking at a collection I just thought of,
For sure. I never thought
there's
I never played the game, so I didn't know.
no, I never really understood it either. I'll be honest with you. I've only recently been getting into that. It's been all the rage forever, and I felt like I was missing out. And I'm testing stuff on our products, and I thought, well, if I'm going to go spend my money on a PS5 game, what is it going to be? So I thought I'll try it, and it's been a pretty cool experience.
Cool.
The gameplay is kind of different. Yeah, you have to like do races and win cars and stuff, but you actually have to like earn and qualify for all your different licenses, and you have to check it out. It's pretty neat. Now, the next thing that you can aspire for is like making your little cockpit setup, right?
I've already had those. Actually, the last chair, I just got this one, I don't know, a year ago or so. I had a full uh, Warthog HOTAS setup. I was into virtual reality Elite Dangerous. So,
Oh, okay, gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha,
Haven't played it in a while, but yeah, that's kick ass.
gotcha.
I'm a PC only guy. I never got into consoles or anything.
Yeah, I've got a computer that could be that. It has the capability, but I use it more as like a CAD workstation.
Gotcha.
But it definitely could do some mean gaming. Let me see. I think it's got like a 6900 XT or something in it. That's a pretty stout graphics card. That's yeah, 6900.
Yeah, that's
That's
more than enough.
oh yeah. Yeah, that'll do some stuff. So, the PC gaming, that's a whole different level. That's like in the car world, that's the highest performance, but the most tweaky and the least easy to set up for some people.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy, but like for some people it can be kind of overwhelming where it's like a Nintendo Switch or PS5 is just like
Turn it on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Totally
getting a
different.
new phone. You just activate it, download software, play software.
Yep, pretty much.
The computer thing's a different beast, and like I built this one to do workstation stuff, and like again, it has hey, you know what? Building computers is almost like a gearhead hobby. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a
That's
dude's
true.
racing sim, and he's like, "I built the machine that's in that."
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're really into it, like you don't buy a closed loop water cooling setup, you make your
Do
own
your
water
custom.
cooling
Yep.
setup. Yeah, you get your little tank and everything. That's yeah, that's next level. I'm not there. I just bought like a Corsair closed loop system with 3 fans.
Yeah. These days, the all-in-ones are actually better. So, yeah, the days
It
of
doesn't.
multi GPU are over. So there's no need
Yeah,
for
but you feel like
that
Walter
much.
White. Oh yeah. Well, so I had that at one point, and then
So
they
did I.
DirectX 12 or whatever came out, and you couldn't really do multi GPU anymore.
Yep.
So
I was doing that back in the day when you're building your own out of a car heat exchanger and an aquarium pump and all that kind of fun stuff. Actually blew a processor once because it sprung a leak in the middle of the night and psh, there it went.
yeah, I had one leaking and didn't realize it because I guess the water was distilled and there wasn't enough conductivity. Like it worked wet. I didn't realize it was leaking till it overheated.
Mm,
But I guess depending on the conductivity, you can either decide it wants to work or not work. But yeah, I had a multi GPU setup that had 3 980s back when that was a hot graphics card.
yeah. Hot
And
literally and figuratively.
yes, yeah, yes to both. And each one of them had a liquid AIO cooler, so it was a single radiator, single pump for
Yep.
each one of the three. And this
Yep.
case is shaped like a hexagon, so there was a radiator for each one, and the processor radiator. So there was actually 4 radiators on. One was for
Hmm.
the CPU. And a fun fact for all this is none of that's effective unless you have like 40 PCI Express lanes.
Right. So
So
you're
you
not
had to buy
limited.
that Intel Extreme Edition, like 5950X, whatever.
Yep.
I might be mixing up the number, but it was something like that processor to get all the 40
You needed the pipelines.
PCIe lanes to make
Yep.
those 3 GPUs really work. Otherwise, they'll all be knocked down to like 4x, 8x, 4x or something. If you want 8, 8, and
Useless.
8, you got to get the 40
Yep.
or 8, 16, 8 or something like that.
Whatever it was.
I eventually got to where you could have 2 of them at 16 and 1 at 8, and somehow that worked.
They
Pretty cool
probably were
stuff.
only using 8.
Yeah, probably in the MGPU configuration, but like at least when you went to the GPU identifying tool, they would all come up as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like again the hard lesson thing. Like, oh, I wish I just never wasted money on it. I just held tight for a couple of years and did this because I did it for a completely different reason. There were rendering tools you could do that would utilize the MGPU algorithm.
Mhm.
In fact, they still do. So there's this computer right now has 2 of those 6900s in it.
Mhm.
You cannot utilize that for gaming anymore, DirectX 12. But what was the name of the program? Blender or something like that. You
Yeah.
could
3D rendering.
you could do 3D rendering, and it could use both of them. So like what would normally take an hour, instead of doing CPU rendering, you could do MGPU rendering, and you could do it much faster.
Yep.
And there's a couple. I'll have to show you one of these days off YouTube some of the interesting products out there. They're like in a picture. It's like, well, yeah, that render came from here. And when I did them on the laptop, back then I had an Alienware laptop. That same rendering would take like 50 minutes, and on this desktop it would take 7,
Yep.
6. It's nothing.
I do the same thing here for video.
Yep. Man, I that's covered a lot of the gearhead sort of hobbies I can think of. I can't think of much else.
Yeah,
Not,
I think we covered the major bases at least, but please
yeah.
let us know what we're missing because we know we're missing stuff. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you you guys should comment and say, this is what I'm running for the AV stuff, and I'm into this or whatever. That'd be cool. See what other people are doing.
Absolutely. And let us know what else you would like us to cover, audio or not related, because we're just here having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think we've dragged this one on, just over an hour now. So I think we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll stick a fork in it. We'll come up with something next.
We didn't plan on going for an hour, but we're, like I said, having fun and it just
Cars are
happens.
too fun.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're going to have more of this just chit chat as time goes on. But Stay tuned. We've got plenty more coming up. Lots of audio stuff, of course, and lots more of just hanging out. And give us a follow, give us a like, drop a comment. Thanks again for joining me, Rick.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next time.